Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna start recording. I don't actually know what we're gonna do for an intro, but if there was an intro, you just heard it. Because hello folks, it is I, Noob Mister, here with an experimental podcast that I have come to collectively known as the Game Time Podcast, where we talk about life, gaming, and all that good stuff in between. But I am not alone, for I am being joined by Mike Set, Dragon V0942. I don't know what name do you want to be known as on here?
Honestly, call me whatever the heck you want. I'm just that orange squeaky guy that once ran away from Molestia and failed.
Basically, the giant talking Dorito over here. Yeah, that one.
I can't believe I almost replicated that perfectly.
Yeah, and I think you almost broke the the desktop audio slider thing as well. I think it hit yellow when you did that.
I'm surprised it didn't hit red.
Do you want to try again?
No.
Yes, we don't want a definite...
I think not.
I think not. But yes, this is... But say.
Say. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, this is pretty much an experimental podcast. I'm just sort of kind of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. I hope. So, I guess the first thing we should really talk about is life. So, Mikey boy, what have you been doing this week? Anything particularly interesting?
Trying to gather the motivation to lose weight. That's the biggest thing in my life. That
I'll tell you an easy way to do that. Is cut down your shopping bill by half. Trust me, that does wonders for you. Because I've been doing that quite a bit too. So, yeah, you know, it's just a case of you know, not buying things. Actually, that is one thing you should definitely try doing, is just next time you go shopping and you see something that you would normally pick up, or you're just like, oh, I really want to buy that, that looks good, just go, nope, I am not buying that. I'm not going to buy that this week.
Can I at least get the apples and the grapes?
Yes, eat a lot of fruit, or better yet, just eat a lot of vegetables. Eat meals that contain a lot of vegetables. That is a good one, because I've been doing a lot of cooking recently, and most of my meals just have some sort of vegetable in it, or it is like 80% vegetable and like 20% meat. So
I've been trying really hard, but still to this day, the only vegetable in the world I can eat or even enjoy eating is potatoes in any form or fashion.
Is a potato a vegetable though?
I think so.
I don't actually. Well, it grows out of the ground, so it's. I guess it counts, because if it's hanging off a vine or something,
then wouldn't that pineapple count, because that can grow in a similar fashion, doesn't it?
This is kind of that debate where whether a tomato or a tomato, if you're American, because you know, awkwardness and all that, is a
or
fruit.
Tyrannids or Tyranids from
Yeah.
King.
Yeah,
let's not get into the debate. And dare not mention. I should probably not mention, even though I'm going to mention it anyway. The whole pineapple on pizza debate.
I don't get that. It is like Hawaiian pizza has existed for how many years now, and it's like people have only just discovered it. I don't get that. It's just.
Speaking of only just discovered, that reminds me. You know the times when the internet is starving of memes, and it goes back to the prehistoric ages or whatnot to get an old decayed meme. Like, for example, the whole steamed hams just came, or steamed clam, or whatever it was, came out of nowhere when it's existed for a long time.
That one was also a bit of a surprise, but I'm glad it did come along, because that created some really, really funny stuff.
And it
good
doesn't
stuff,
help that,
buddy. Good stuff.
Coincidentally, that one episode of MLP with the 3 Pony Ranger spoiler ahead, Aurora and Bori and Alice, and dear God, that just put fuel for the meme.
No, mother, it's just the Northern Lights. There's just 3 ponies sitting in the kitchen. We're not lights. Shh! Get back in your drawer. But yeah, what were we talking about? Oh yes, I was about to say is the whole thing with a tomato debate whether or not that's a fruit or a vegetable, because it grows off a vine and it has seeds in it, but I really don't know about that one. But yeah, if you want to lose weight, just cook a lot of meals with vegetables, because that
Also,
works.
here, funny we just talked about that whole thing. I just saw this.
He's just linked me an image. What's happening in there, Aurora Boreal? Yes, that is the exact meme.
Yep.
That is the exact meme right there. But speaking of shopping and things, when I went shopping on Monday, because it is currently Wednesday, but this will be going out on Saturday, just to confuse everybody on the internet.
And in even more of the further confusion, right now it's currently Wednesday, and it's just about like well, it's 8:21 p.m. here, so not long until it's now gonna be Thursday.
Yeah, but you get the day off.
Yep, but still, time zones.
Yes, time zones.
Fucking love them.
You were saying
Yep.
no?
But yeah, when I went shopping on Monday, I discovered something that I never knew actually previously existed. You know, you obviously get Pringles over in the land down under, do you? Obviously.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
Yes.
I even actually admittedly missed seeing that ad.
Yeah. I discovered they actually do smaller tubs, not those little like individual ones that only have like maybe 20 Pringles in it. I'm talking about a tub that is about half the size of a regular one, and I didn't know those existed. And
It's a bit about a different one. What I'm curious. I should probably look up how they do it eventually, because I have been fascinated by how the Pringles are basically perfectly cut chips that are just perfectly stacked on each other.
Oh, the ones that I had in this tub were not perfectly cut. I opened up the tub and every single Pringle was broken. It wasn't like those neatly little shaped chips or crisps or whatever, or however you want to pronounce it, stacked in a tub, presented beautifully for your consumption. No, it was just pieces, all stacked on top of each other. I'm just like, how the fuck am I going to eat all of this? But I did.
Yeah, it sounds like that they packaged it wrong.
Yeah, or in transportation, somebody just decided, I'm going to shake this one, and then put it back
Probably
on the
came
shelf.
from the land down under.
Yeah, it was upside. Yeah, it was upside down. They transported it from Australia, and it was upside down the whole way. But then, would that mean that when it came to my side of the hemisphere, it was the right side up, or would it still be upside down? No, it would be the right side up, your side, but then it would be upside down.
You're trying to make sense with the land down under. It's not gonna work. We have marsupials that bounce on two legs that we eat.
Yes, I know. I have been to your country. I am fully aware of that. I have actually I have eaten kangaroo. Admittedly, it was
How'd you
in
have
minced form, and it was part of a spaghetti bolognese, and it was good. It was good.
It's good. It's good.
Good. Yeah.
I need to watch that again with my family. Bruce Almighty.
Yep. I haven't seen that. I never saw Evan Almighty, or like saw the last couple of minutes of the film.
Yeah, it just didn't feel like a sequel or anything. I'd just say you're not missing out on much.
Yeah. Okay then. Oh well, there is going to be one film that I know I'm not going to be missing out on, and that is going to be the upcoming live-action remake of Aladdin. Oh my god, does that look awful?
Is it really that bad?
It's just the CGI blue-colored Will Smith that's making everybody go, ugh.
That's actually a half and half thing. On one half, people wanted him to be blue, like in the series. Now, the other half, people are probably either changing their minds or saying no. Either way, I'm interested enough to see, and I do want to actually legitimately see how Will Smith pulls off the genie. I couldn't think of, because right now, because of for you know who passing away and whatnot.
Yeah, Robin
I
Williams.
can't think. Yeah, I can't. can't really think of anyone else who could fit in his shoes to have that energy and likeness. I mean, Robin Williams had that aura about him that just makes people smile, or at least that's how I felt. And I get the same thing with Will Smith. So I don't think he's a bad choice. Maybe not the perfect, but he can't be that bad. So I'm gonna see it.
There
I'm
is
intrigued.
there is one person I know of who did have to stand in for Robin Williams when because apparently there was a big whole legal issue Robin Williams had with Disney at one point, so he stopped being the genie for a period of time, and that was around about the time they started doing the animated version of Aladdin. Guess who they got in?
Who?
What was his name? It's the guy that does the voice for Homer in The Simpsons. They got him.
Yeah.
They
No,
got
I
him to
remember.
do the genie for a while.
Yeah, I was wondering why the first time when I saw the second Aladdin, why he sounded a little different. I realized, wait a fucking minute, that's Homer.
Yeah, it's the same guy. They had to call him in to do. Yeah, it was Return of Jafar and pretty much the entirety of the
You're on
animated
second
series.
rate.
Yep, the only time Jafar ever got a villain song. That is probably a lot of things that a thing that a lot of people have not realized from the original Aladdin. Jafar never got a villain song until
of
the
villain
sequel.
songs, what's your favorite villain song?
Ooh, that's a good question. A lot of people would just go with Be Prepared, but I really don't. Oh, Gaston.
Oh yeah, that one was a funny one.
That is a good fun song, but that's probably because I watch too many YouTube poops. I watch so many goddamn YouTube poops that song has just become my favorite purely based on that fact alone. And to be perfectly honest, that version of the song in the original cartoon massively outshines the remake version that they did a few years ago. Because I went and saw that, and I walked away from that thinking, yeah, that was okay, but there just wasn't any of the charm. It was just, I don't know.
Yeah,
you
I
can
personally
tell
wasn't-
Disney is just trying way too hard at this point. It's just like, if you can produce something like Frozen and it becomes successful, create a few more new IPs, or just do something with the stuff that you already have. Or I don't know at this point, but at this point I just don't think that the new Aladdin is going to do all that well, and I honestly think that's going to not supposedly bomb at the box office, but it's not going to do anywhere near as well as all the other things. Lion King might do well. I'm fairly certain that one might do okay, but the Aladdin
Plus,
one,
someone is coming back to reprise the role, and I think we all know who that is.
well, it's obviously not Rowan Atkinson because they're not bringing him back to play Zazu anymore.
Talking about the
Yes. Oh, no, it's not Samuel L. Jackson, is it? I don't know. I'm terrible at remembering names and faces. It is Samuel. It is Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, that goes my attempt at relying on you because I honestly don't remember the actor's name either. I was trying to trick you into.
I know who it is, and I know he did the voice of Darth Vader as well, but I'm terrible at remembering actors' names because this is just something that I don't.
Speaking of which, you know, in the earlier episodes of the Star Wars, he asked not to be credited as he didn't as the voice of Darth Vader, as he thought of himself as more of a sound effect person and not a actual voice. Like he didn't contribute enough. You know, he was that type of humble person. I can't remember what episode it was when the cast eventually convinced him, mate, you really are have that voice, and everyone wants to know the person behind it. So we're gonna credit you, okay? He's like, fine. You know, he's like that humble person that doesn't feel like he's deserves to be credited. I forgot who it was that was physically in the suit.
Oh, it was some I think it was like Irish bodybuilder or boxer or wrestler or something.
Speaking of which, top of the morning to you ladies.
Yeah. A Jacksepticeye Darth Vader.
Now you've given me the idea, and I can't.
I really just don't know what to do with that. It's such a bizarre concept, especially when Darth Vader has become...
I can already imagine someone editing the scene where he walks in, and there's, you know, in that first episode where we first see him walk through the hallway, looks around, and I can imagine someone audio splicing with a radio filter saying, "Boy, Jesus, something went on here."
Did he actually say that during a video that he did at one point? Because I don't.
I'm pretty sure he's said that somewhere, because I have heard him say, "Boy, Jesus," something.
Okay then, but yeah, we will leave you with that then, folks. A Jacksepticeye Darth Vader. You know what to do. Anyway, moving on, we are now going to talk about gaming, because it wouldn't be called the Game Time Podcast if we didn't talk about gaming. So, first things first, what have you been playing this week, if anything at all, really?
Well, lately I have... You know, I didn't realize this until my nephew brought it up when he came over yesterday to play on my VR, which he didn't play much of because we had one hell of a freak heat weather, so he wasn't able to stay in there for long. But I haven't bought any new games for quite a long time. I'm still got the games that I dance back and forth between. Lately, it's just been Dead by Daylight and Warframe. And I'm not counting VR Chat as a game, but it's more of a social app. But yeah. And normally would also be Payday 2, but I keep getting the disconnection error, and I still can't figure out what's causing it. It's become unplayable for me at this point.
Interesting. I've
definitely looking forward to the Rail Jack update for Warframe.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. I just don't know what's taken them so long. I think they've probably got connectivity issues or other bugs.
Speaking of updates, related to Dead by Daylight, Decisive Strike nerf. Well, change.
Explain that to me and people who don't know what that is, because I don't play Dead by Daylight, so...
Oh, well, surely you and I have watched enough videos of Dead by Daylight funny moments where they pick up the obsession, or someone who's not the obsession, and in the 30% of the struggle they get the Decisive Strike skill check, where if they land it, they instantly get free, and they stun the killer for longer.
Mm-hmm.
You remember those?
I think.
Well, anyway, that's
Maybe?
the Decisive Strike, and usually someone who is the obsession, the most optimal way that most people seem to use it is that they intentionally get the killer, and they try to take it for a loop around and use the infinite loops and other loops as effectively as possible. And when the killer finally gets them, if they're nowhere near a hook and can't even dribble them, well, they're going to get away, and you're going to have to chase them again, wasting so many times that probably 3 or worse old gens may have popped by the time that you've caught up. That's how bad it was, if not played right. So you either get the obsession in one hit, with a one hit, and get them to burn through it immediately, so you don't have to deal with it later, or ignore them. So they've decided to change it to a anti-tunneling. It's a perk that becomes temporarily active for 60 seconds, I think they said, when you get unhooked or unhook yourself from a hook, and if the killer attempts to pick you up, immediately during the pickup animation to avoid the dribbling part, you get the skill check. And if you land it, well, you immediately get free, just like normal. But you also become the obsession. It goes way more deeper than everything, so I'd suggest just looking up a video, otherwise we're going to be here forever talking about this.
Yeah.
But I think that what's surprising is, for once, half of the community seems to agree that this is probably pretty good. And yeah, that's a rarity for Dead by Daylight, where survivors immediately rage at any nerfs to their perks.
That's interesting. Very, very interesting. As for me, I have been sort of flipping and flopping between a lot of games. I'm not the type of person who sticks with one for a long time and then immediately and then just sticks with it for a long time. I don't know where I was going with that, but as for me, I have been playing Guild Wars 2 for a bit. I still haven't been able to get my Griffin mount yet. I am still grinding that out. I have the gold necessary to buy all the relics and the things that you need to buy from all the Renown Heart vendors, which are basically the equivalent of quests in Guild Wars. But yeah, other than that, I am. But other than that, I am still missing like 1 or 2 things elsewhere, like defeat a specific boss or clear a particular event, which is normally a group event that nobody's running at the moment, which is annoying. And as good as turrets are to solo open world champion bosses, one particular event, I think it's in Assault Highlands. I think it's like in the Highlands or something. That boss you can definitely not solo, because I tried to run in there and solo it, and there are so many ads in that boss fight. They immediately just take one look at you, and that's just it. You're dead. You're dead. So you need a dead.
Big sus.
Yeah, not big sus price or big surprise.
Loopsie.
Yeah, he's probably making a reference to a TF2 Smexual or something, so if you don't get the reference, then...
Yeah, this particular one is a reference to one of Inverted Shadow ones, so if you by chance know it, yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. But yeah, other than that, last couple of live streams I've done on Guild Wars has just been me running around making the sort of Deldrimor steel ingots, spirit wood planks, and the Alonian leather squares and things to just sell on the trading post to get the gold in to be able to afford the Griffin mount, and then it's just trying to do the other bits, but doesn't make for very good streaming, I will be totally honest, because it's not an awful lot of fun to sit there watching somebody just running around doing stuff, I guess. But while we're on the subject of Warframe, let's talk about that. Anything interesting that you've been doing on Warframe recently? Yeah.
I got back into Eidolon hunting, and I'm surprised people are still found out a way to pretty much one-shot the Eidolons piece by piece. I finally got the Vectis rifle to roughly do half of what's intended, but I still need to former it a few times. But just through 2 runs, I've gotten a lot of Eidolon shards and the big ones and whatnot. I think I should actually do this for a little bit more so I can finally max out most of those focus things, especially the waybounds, and finally upgrade my Tenno. What's good about when I decide to do that? No cap can stop me. I am so sick of the daily caps. I mean, have you ever gotten those materials and you really want to, like, for example, when I wanted to catch up to all the because I didn't pay attention and realize that you had to be at the max standing with the oh shoot, what were they called? The
Solaris United.
Solaris United. Yeah, them. I didn't realize you had to be max standing with them to be able to do the next thing that allows you to get the Arcwing weapons on ground, which I really wanted. So I was 3 standings behind, and it took me several weeks not because it took that long, but because it was too easy to hit the cap, and there was nothing I could do. I had to wait 24 hours, and it took
there was nothing I could do! These controls are bugged, man! Sorry.
Okay, when you went bugged, man, you actually sounded like a convincing cartoon character from the 90s.
Yeah, man. I'm from the 90s. It was a hip time back then. We had portable stereos, we had CD-ROMs, and we also had this cool thing called the internet. You could get to it on your phone line with this thing called a dial-up modem. And PC gaming, oh man, that was so good. You could get an entire 200 megabyte hard drive. It was awesome.
Seriously, that is awesome what you're doing. And what's even better, when you chose not to drag it out too much and speed it up here a little bit, you made it less irritating and more awesome. Well, actually, I should have put it like, if you don't consistently drag it, you avoid making it annoying. You know, like you're doing a whiny voice.
Kind of like that, really.
Yeah, I think I've told you once or twice where you were doing these things. I was like, oh, can you please stop? Because there's nothing more annoying than attempting to imitate annoying.
Really? I don't think you've ever told me that before.
Then I must be confusing with someone else. I think
It must have been somebody else that you've done voice work with or something. But yeah, going back onto the whole Warframe thing. I'm sort of my tongue, where is it gone? My tongue has run away. Come back, tongue.
Well, did you get your tongue caught between?
Don't make any sex jokes. Don't make any sex jokes, please. Do not make
sex jokes. It was a Jar Jar Binks joke.
My tongue is silenced. My tongue is silenced. Silenced. I'm stuck.
I'm stuck.
My tongue is silenced. You're right. He is a very odd creature.
When I watched the YouTube poop where someone edited so that he started up the engine and you hear.
I wish they'd done that to Jar Jar Binks.
Alright. But as we were talking about Warframe.
Yes, Warframe. I get the whole thing with the level cap because with the whole Plains of Valis thing and doing all the bounty missions there, it's mostly because it's so easy to do the bonus objectives on those bounties, and it just gives you extra standing. What are you doing?
I had no drink of water.
I thought you were trying to reorganize your desk. It was just like, oh, we've got to reorganize all these pencils.
Sorry, it's a huge ass bottle. I mean, listen, when I put it on the desk, it's big, okay? It's a big ass bottle.
Oh, really? I've got one standing next to me too, and see, not as noisy. You need a less noisier bottle.
I'm pretty sure I've shown you, but here, cam on. Bottle I used to use next to it, just as a comparison to what of a step up it is. That's how big it is.
That's a big bottle.
Yes, that's what's making all the noise. Right.
Okay then.
Now back onto the topic of Warframe.
Yes. Let's get back to talking about Warframe before we get too sidetracked. Yeah, it's mostly because you just it's so easy to complete the bonus objectives on that, and it gives you extra standing. Not to mention extra physical rewards as well. But if you
speaking of rewards,
mm-hmm.
Aside from the unlockable things that are locked behind standing ranks on the Earth people, I forgot what their names are, but is there anything else of significance that you get from them when you're at Kin, which is the max one?
That's a good question.
I mean, we got that with the Solaris people, and I'm not going to spoil it.
All that I know is that I'm just sort of doing it because they have a sort of like a blueprint or something for one of the gem types that I need for something I was crafting. I can't remember what it was.
Oh
but
yeah, I need to do something like that for Gauru too, or the core frame.
Yeah.
Ruda something.
But yeah, most of what I've been doing on Warframe is just rep grinding, just trying to hit that cap so that I can just go, yeah, that's it, they're all done. I don't really need to.
Don't forget the literal grinding for the Kubradons.
Oh, I don't actually think I've done that.
Yeah, the Kubradon kids, with the
yeah, the Kubradon. You should have just said the K drive. I probably would have known what you were talking about there.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't have been able to explain even more and be more of a nerd. So
be more of a nerdy nerd.
Nerd. Oh, by the way, funny enough, the most efficient way to grind for points is to literally grind around in a circle.
Yeah, there's that bit. I think it's called the Pearl or something. It's literally just a massive rail that just goes around in a circle, and that's just the easiest way to get points. But you do have to get off the rail and let the points tick up in order for it to count, because you only get a maximum of 3,000 per trick. And then
it's so sad that that is currently the best way to do it. There is no other easiest way. I mean, you could get pretty close to it by trying to play it as intended, but that's like the difference between playing Ark Survival Evolved, how the people of Ark kind of wished for you to play as you see in the trailers. But in reality, you see unorthodox settlements and whatnot, exploitation and all that. Yeah. There's a big difference between showcase trailer of Ark Survival Evolved and reality inside Ark Survival Evolved.
Mm-hmm. Now, having played it, I honestly wouldn't know, so...
I'll give you some showcases later.
Okay. But anyway, we will now move on to our next and potentially last segment of the day, which is a random bit of gaming news. I literally have got nothing in front of me right now. I am trying to open Google Chrome, but it is taking its goddamn sweet time, as always.
Well, while he's doing that, I'm really liking how Apex Legend is lifting off and actually becoming a potential competitor to well, then Fortnite, because like Fortnite, it is also free to play. But the big thing that I definitely am attracted to, I'm still not going to try out the game because PvP games like that are not healthy for me. I get too anxious, whatever the word is. I shake. It's like when I played Ark Survival Evolved. When I came to my first PvP moment, my hand was shaking. I could not aim or shoot straight or anything like this. This is also why I don't play any PvP games where there's no option to melee or no, well, viable way to go melee style. Which is why I always played as the aliens a lot in Natural Selection 2. Because I can't aim for shit, but I'm okay with trying to move strategically. Anyways,
there really isn't that much interesting on here, and this Apex Legends ad keeps getting in the way. Hold on, let me try turning it. I'm going to have to. No, actually, no. Sorry, sorry. It was Anthem, not Apex Legends. They start with the same letter.
Oh right.
There we go. Oh god, this is one of those sites where everything jitters.
What got me really intrigued and thought, finally, that's actually a decision I rarely see done in AAA games these days, or even games in general, is that there's a lot of automatic audio communication, but passive communication between characters that are actually helpful. I mean, we got mostly that in the Left 4 Dead games. I mean, like how characters automatically call out something. You know that?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you physically see a hunter or something, the character literally immediately calls out, "Hunter!" Or when you're going past ammo or weapons, they call it out. Well, in Apex Legend, they do that too. There's a few manual ones here and there, but I'm really glad there's a lot of automatic ones that are actually helpful. Like, for example, the leader or one of the three mentioning that they're a bit spread out, or that there's a certain amount of time until the ring is going to start closing in, and then it's going to be followed by, if depending on how close they are, like say if they're very far out, someone will say pretty much like, we need to start hiking to the center, or we're close enough to make it, or we're already in there, so yeah, we're good.
Mm-hmm. So, I actually managed to find an article to read. Next time I will definitely have something that will be substantial, but considering that it is quite topical, because a lot of people are still worried about Article 13 and the whole copyright thing, I went on to IGN and I found this article, which is titled "Twitch Invites Politicians to Play Mario Kart and Discuss Copyright Law." I will read it for you.
Please do.
In an attempt to raise awareness of an impending change to European copyright law that could leave Twitch liable for users' content, the platform is hosting two EU MEPs. Temio Wolokin and Julia Reda. That first one sounds like it is probably Russian, I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know. Wait, hang on. Russia's not part of the EU, so that's... I don't know. It might be German or something. It's a European sounding surname, so... Oh yeah, representatives of Germany's Social Democratic Party. I should have read that bit. That bit.
Please read!
Yes, anyway. And Pirate Party respectively, will be streaming Mario Kart later today to discuss Article 13. Now, granted that this was posted yesterday, that stream has probably already happened. They will be joined by Twitch streamers Ponyhoff and Mantros? I don't know. I can never read people's weird usernames, so...
Good start. We're on a good start.
Yeah, like I said, I really should have pulled this before I started this, but whatever.
No, not you. I mean, the streamers joining them.
Yeah. As reported by GameIndustry.biz, Article 13 is intended to make it easier for IP owners to claim monetary compensation with their content has been subjected to copyright infringement. According to Twitch, the new law could impact streamers' ability to express themselves and earn a livelihood on Twitch. Article 13 will essentially make Twitch liable for instances of copyright infringement, blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah, just explaining everything we already bloody know about the stuff and the things. And while European Parliament has already voted in favour of the law, the finer details are being hammered out in a month or two. The stream is part of Twitch's Save Your Internet campaign, in which the community is being asked to sign a petition and contact their EP representatives about the issue. And like I said, the stream has already happened, so I don't know how well that possibly could have gone. But yeah, it seems like this is becoming quite a big thing now. People are actively trying to... I think they're just trying to talk to the politicians and go, look, we understand that you're trying to protect intellectual IP rights and all that shit, but can you do it in a way that just doesn't shit all over everybody?
Best way to put it.
I don't think I could have put that any other way.
No, you couldn't.
And the fact that they've chosen Mario Kart, I'm just trying to imagine what
it would be funny if they can't, if their water something gets deleted due to copyright because it's Nintendo. Even though I've heard Nintendo's kind of...
They've stepped back from all that now. Apparently, yes. Nintendo's partnership program has shut down. They don't content ID anything of that nature on YouTube anymore.
Wait, why did that shut down?
Because they realised that what they were doing was stupid, basically. Because at first, I don't know, do you remember the whole Miiverse thing that they had at one point?
Yes.
That was apparently them trying to do their own version of social media. But now they have their own Twitter account, and they've just gone, huh, this stuff actually works. Let's get rid of Miiverse, we don't really need it anymore. And now they've, of course, started posting all of their Nintendo Directs to YouTube, and they've just sort of turned around and gone, huh, this works. I guess we don't need the partnership program anymore. Because that was partially one of the reasons why the Wii U failed, was because that they were turning around and doing this whole partnership bullshit, and basically just preventing people from making videos on Nintendo content. It just made people who were doing stuff like that not want to do it because it would just get demonetized. They would get hit by Nintendo. So I think the reason why the Switch has done so well is not only because it's just a better system compared to the Wii U,
but it's taking place during the time where that whole copyright thing has stepped down.
Yeah. Still doesn't stop YouTube from demonetizing everything, so... And on that bombshell, I would say that was enough for the first Game Time podcast. So, you got anything else you want to add, Mikey? Anything to say? Social media links or anything like that? There you have it, folks.
Well, I will say this, though. If anyone bothers to look me up on YouTube or whatnot, don't. It's inactive. I mean, you'll see that the latest video was probably done, like, hold on, 2 years ago?
Probably 2 years ago, because you were announcing, like, you were doing a redo of Mike Set or something, and...
No, my latest video was that I had my Vive, and I did my first little video trying it out. I also did mention that I'm... Okay, here we go. Latest video was... Yeah, 2 years ago.
I still think that you would do really well at doing VR stuff for YouTube. You would make a good buck out of that. I'm fairly certain you would. I don't know
But
why
I've
you don't want to
never-
try it, so but I would strongly
I've-
recommend that you do.
I've never done monetization or anything like that ever on YouTube.
It's an easy thing. It's an easy thing. Although admittedly it's going through a network makes that whole process a little bit easier, even if they do take money off of you and things like that. But that is a whole other topic. With me, you know me, I post stuff to YouTube, and I also have started streaming on Twitch as well, which I do on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 9 a.m. and 8 p.m. respectively at GMT, which is like 1 a.m. PST and 12 p.m. PST, I think. I don't know. American times are confusing. But yes, you will find me there streaming not only games, but also me working on Source Filmmaker stuff as well, because I've got to keep working on dem animations, yo.
And I
But-
still love how you do Boldy.
Yeah, it's because I couldn't think of a voice for him, and that was just what I went with. So yes, thank you everybody for listening. This has been.
I did mention that my YouTube was dead, but I didn't mention where I'm not dead. Hold on a second.
No, if you don't mention anything like Fur Affinity or anything, because I
I
can't
won't
link
mention
that.
Fur Affinity, even though we already have, but I recommend the DeviantArt. That is at least where I'm at least
I'm
somewhat
not
active.
sure I could link to that either, because YouTube's got a pretty strict policy on links to questionable sites.
DeviantArt is questionable?
It might be because of the mature content that's on there.
That you can only access if you have an account.
Yeah,
Like,
but
for
even
Affinity.
still, better safe than sorry. Better safe than sorry. Anyway,
Well,
folks.
anyway, if you decide to search me up, you just use the name that you use for me everywhere else.
Yes.
I shouldn't be that hard to find. Okay, sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
Okay, time to end this. And with that, this is the end of the effectively pilot episode of the Game Time podcast. And with that, Heavy Weapons Guy says...
Okay, enough.